Okay, cheers, bye-bye. There we go, folks. Where's Hughes? So he's obviously a fairly busy sort of a character. He's always running around the countryside and, up and down, and you name it, he's doing it. So, yeah. But, we'll get on to our next guest, which, of course, up next is going to be the man from Western Springs Speedway. His name is Macau Johnson, and it's the first time he's been on our radio show, so it'd be good to talk to him. Back soon.
Looking for accommodation in Hanmer? There's a website that makes it real easy. HanmerHolidayHomes.com. For 2, 4 or 10 people, there's cottages for any budget and anyone, even the dog. HanmerHolidayHomes.com. That's HanmerHolidayHomes.com.
Sometimes you're better off dead. There's a gun in your hand, it's pointing at your head. You think you're mad, to unstable.
Yes, it is, Mikey. Very interesting to see that Lance Jennings, of course, jumping over to the DVS Super Saloon Series. So that will be rather interesting to see how he goes there as well. Just before we get our next guest on the line, big thanks goes out to the man who looks after us here for the Pits FM, has done for a number of years now, and that's, of course, Campbell McManaway from Can Do Fishing, who has done a lot for us as a radio station, and a lot for us as in a TV, not so much lately. He's been a bit slack, actually. He's been on holiday for 2 months. But, so big thanks goes out to Campbell, and the guys also at Brown & Syme Painting Contractors. They just contribute little bits and pieces here and there that helps out. Central South and Excavating, also one of the guys look after us, and, of course, Food at Clifton. So big thanks goes out to those guys for allowing us to continue to run our radio show, which we'll run for another couple of months, then we'll pull the pin, getting ready for the TV show. Well, we're recording it anyway. Right, my next guest, I got introduced to him a couple of years, well, it'd be 3 or 4 years ago now, and of course he was at a big fan of Western Springs Speedway, and he got sort of put into the position of being a commentator. I got the lovely job of trying to teach him what I knew, but he was already pretty good at it. Can talk the tonsils off a cow, and certainly fantastic in his mannerisms and his enthusiasm for Speedway. Introducing Macau Johnson. Macau, welcome to the Pits, mate. How are you?
Yeah, hey, Jay, thanks for that. Yeah, it's good, mate. Yourself?
A wee bit of an intro for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, just a little bit. Johnson Hadley, but we'll leave that one out.
Oh, that's right. He got married. I always forget that bit. But we won't leave it out. We got to put it in. It's just as important as everything else, isn't it?
Yep, paid my way.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so tell us, Macau, first and foremost, let's have a bit of a talk about you. And of course, I sort of introduced you as being somebody that's been at Western Springs for many years. So how long ago? How long has it been? What was your first introduction to Western Springs?
Yeah, so basically, in short, we used to live in the flats that are across the road from Stadium Road. So as a baby, I was probably about 3 or 4. My father decided that instead of fighting the noise, he was just going to take me along. And pretty much from there, that's how it ended up our weekends. So every weekend for about 24 weeks, from November through to March, was spent our summers just watching the race cars and watching the driving in Western Springs. My dad sort of fell off the wagon a bit with going when I was about 13, and the only way that I was allowed to go was if I actually found myself a job there. So it wasn't quite a paying job, but I started crewing for a man called Eddie Patrick, known as Sambo, in 1996. And stayed with him till about 1999, and took a little bit of a break to do my hosting stuff for about 4 or 5 years, and then I came back in and was asked to do the social media, sort of introduce Western Springs to the social media side of things with Instagram and of course the Facebook page, which I started about 6-7 years ago. And it was from there the opportunity came up to be a commentator and sort of stepped into those shoes.
And that was not a bad wee shoes to step into either. Of course, so that's where we met up. And but you're more than just a commentator from Western Springs. I mean, you're a person that knows the drivers. You don't so much know the drivers, but you knew the cars. You knew who was driving what. You're like sort of like the go-to man. Especially when you started commentating, because you already knew the cars because you've been following them for so long.
Yeah, so I think what it came down to really was just my passion, and that's the thing about Speedway fans, and especially the fans at Western Springs. They're just so passionate, and you learn everything about it from the drivers, the way the cars are made and how the cars work.
Hey Marco, just for a second, just stop you for a second. Are you not talking away from your phone because people are struggling to hear you? It's just you're either on a speakerphone or something, are you?
No, I'll just switch that. Sorry, I'm sitting in my car because it's freezing up here, 12 degrees in Auckland, so it's basically Antarctica. Yeah,
well, I know what that's like. It's, I think we're sitting on 7 at the moment. So, yeah. So, sorry, carry on from that. What you're saying?
Yeah, so I was just saying, I think what you find a lot with Speedway fans all over the country, especially the ones at Western Springs, are very passionate about the sport and about getting to know everything about it, from the drivers to the way the cars work and the cars handle. And, as a kid, that was one thing in my life that I looked forward to every day. It was my punishment when I was misbehaving. I wasn't allowed to go, and it was my excitement for the week to make sure that I was good and did everything well, was to go to Western Springs Speedway and just sit there and get amongst it and following and watching races like Ted Tracy and Morris Cowling and Sleepy Tripp and Brett Harrison, and all that sort of stuff just excited me. And there was nothing else that I thought was better than hanging out at Western Springs Stadium. So, yeah, I sort of got to know it, and when I started doing the social media pages, that sort of introduced me to the drivers. So I was very behind the scenes. I didn't really let anybody know that I was doing it, unless I was interviewing them or doing something for the page. And, of course, I sort of started the whole commentary thing that was going with the social media at the time. So I think when the position opened up, it was sort of like a great opportunity for me, so I thought I'd give it a go. And I was pretty lucky to fall into sort of that role and be led with people like Aaron, that's been doing it for 17 years, broadcasting, and living at Western Springs. And of course, you've been in the broadcasting team since Jesus was a commentator, so I was pretty lucky to fall in with those guys.
Well, I mean, you pretty much had that natural ability anyway, because obviously your outside involvement with stuff outside of motorsport allowed you to be a little bit more, I suppose, forthcoming. You knew how to entertain, definitely know how to talk. So it was actually something from what you did from the outside that helped you get going with commentary, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was pretty lucky. I didn't really do anything like drama styles when I was in high school and all that, but yeah, I'd been hosting a cabaret show for 15 years, actually, sort of was doing that and the Speedway. So that sort of allowed me to be sort of, open to the crowd and how to work a crowd. But the two things were completely different. So hosting drunk hens and birthday parties every weekend to actually being in front and having thousands of fans listening to you and what you're saying, I had to be just a little bit more correct, and I soon learned, and you soon taught me exactly what I could say and what I couldn't say when it came to commentary. And, I've learned so much, and I'm really glad that I got to work with both yourself and with Aaron, because let's face it, you guys are two of the best in the actual sport, so I'm pretty lucky. But I'd like to take my own curve on things and see what I can do with that, and I'm proud of what I've done.
I always told you, though, you can't copy somebody else. You've got to have your own, your own style, your own flavour, and all that sort of stuff, because if we all started sounding exactly the same, it'd get fairly boring, wouldn't it? Yeah,
exactly. So everybody's got to have their own sort of taste to make sure that everything's different. I think that's the unique thing is me and yourself and Aaron, it's very yin and yang. We're so different that it combines together, It's like a forced marriage that sort of worked out well.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. So, I suppose the last couple of seasons and stuff like that, you've been witness to some fairly good stuff happening at Western Springs Speedway, but there's been some darker times too for the track, isn't there? More so around the, whether you're going to even get a season kicked off this year. But obviously the people spoke, and I know you're behind a fairly big campaign to get things, sort of people thinking in the right direction, eh?
Yeah, definitely. This could have been a season that would have never happened, So, and I think at the end of the day, the drivers are there. They put it on the show. That's the reason why we all go there, and that's the reason why everybody got so passionate and got behind the sort of making a noise, just so the council would know that Speedway fans, motorsport in general in New Zealand, we are to be counted. We may not be the All Blacks, but we've got some legends that have done stuff around the world that other sports in this country can definitely not take away.
It amazes me, like they're prepared to throw away a whole bunch of history just to, for what reason to have 15 people watching a bloody cricket game?
Yeah, definitely, and I think the difference between the two sports are majorly dramatic, and so I can't really comment on that too much, but Speedway is 90 years. This year we celebrate 90 years. There's a massive 90th Jubilee that's going to be happening on the Barry Butterworth Memorial race that's going to be happening at Western Springs. We've got some amazing stuff that's coming up as well that we haven't quite mentioned in the calendar. Get excited. We're talking modifieds and all sorts of stuff. A 40-lap and 50-lap sprint car race that's happening this year. And, we're not going to go down without a fight. And they've tried to silence us for a little bit too long this year. We will definitely be making noise, and we're not finished yet.
Absolutely, and of course 10 shows was what was scheduled. You managed to squeeze it out for 11. It was supposed to start on the 9th of November, but now it's moved back to the 2nd of November. So tell us, can you give us a bit of an indication of what meetings are coming up, or is nothing really finalised yet?
Yeah, so they're just finishing what is going to be a really good calendar. So everything's pretty much finalised. They're just making sure that they're getting it right for all of the fans, so that the fans are coming to see a good show. So the North Island Championship, of course, for the midgets and the sprint cars will be happening early on in the season, and then the international sprint cars. There's some big names. I can't announce them now. I'm sure that's not my job, but that will be announced, that are coming down for the sprint cars, and they're throwing in a 40-lapper and the first 50-lap sprint car race that will be happening during that series. And, of course, the international midget car series that will happen over the Christmas season. There's a lot of championships that will be thrown in with them. If you thought that the drivers that came down from America last year were big, just wait till you hear the lineup that are coming for this year as well. And of course the 90th Jubilee, February 1st. 90 years we celebrate. Everybody needs to get together. We make our stand, we make our noise and celebrate what history that we have for Auckland and what we've created and what we want to see continue for Auckland City.
Okay, so of course that's sort of just going to be an amazing calendar, amazing, because let's be honest, there may not be a next season, eh?
Yeah, that may be the case, and nothing's been finalised yet. So there's a lot of people that sort of jump into conclusions at the moment of what they think is happening. Best thing to do is show your support. Whether you're at Western Springs in Auckland or at any other track in the country, just show your support for Speedway, because that's what's important. Speedway is one of the biggest sports in this country. They might not recognise it, but we definitely know. We've seen the people. We see how passionate people are when they show up into those gates. 20,000 people showed up for the final night last year on the 16th of March. And I'm pretty sure this year we can get just as much people that go through those gates last year, over 100,000. We'll definitely top that this year as well.
And that's amazing, isn't it? Considering the amount of people, like people that are trying to stop it from happening, it just seems to be a lot more people stepping up saying, no, it needs to stay where it is.
Yeah, well, it's a gym. There's no place like it. There's drivers that have come down Sleepy Creek. He would be able to tell you. Drivers that have made themselves legends here. I'm sure Barry Butterworth was still alive, he would tell you. Ted Cyclone Tracy will tell you. There's nothing like Western Springs Speedway. It's iconic for its very reason. It sits right in the heart of Auckland City. It makes its impression from the moment that you walk on. And nothing tops it off better than being able to see drivers like Michael Pickens, who's a legend in the sport, will go down in history. And we get our chance to watch him battle it out here with every other town before he goes on and takes on the rest of the world as well.
He's had a bit of a bad run, actually, talking just off the subject for a minute on Michael Pickens, hasn't he? He went over the season, he had more rain than anything, and then, of course, when the car did perform, it had a couple of gremlins in it. So he's hopefully, I do believe he's going back for the Power Eye Midgets, must be in the next couple of weeks or so to have another crack at it, isn't he?
Yeah, one thing about Michael Pickens, though, is that man is definitely committed. He's committed to what he does. He's a professional. I'm pretty sure he breathes and sleeps everything that has to do with Speedway. So even if he's having a bad run, you can see just how hard he actually puts all the effort into making sure that he's going to put on a show for his fans.
Well, he's exactly right too. He's also good with his fans and stuff. He always gives them the time of day. He's just, he keeps delivering and stuff. It always makes me wonder why he never got into, he's probably that good. He could have gone into, the professional era of motorsport. You could just imagine him maybe having a full-time deal on the Power Eye or even a crack at NASCAR or something like that. But I suppose, no offence to Michael, but he's not getting any younger either. So his days are probably limited for that type of racing, isn't it? Yeah,
definitely. I'm pretty sure that's looking at the other side of it, though, but looking on the good side of it, we've been lucky enough to be treated by watching the uniqueness that is Michael Pickens when he races. And that's the thing, again, with Western Springs Speedway as well. It's one of the only places where we have an open pits during the races. So all the drivers there, they definitely find the way to make connections with the young and with the old, and it's always good to see everybody sort of just come together and have a chat. And it's one of the unique things about Springs Speedway as well.
Funny you should say what you just said, actually, because you're 100% right in the sense with Michael Pickens as well. You know, if he had gone somewhere else, we wouldn't have been able to see him do what he does. And, of course, he'll go down. Like, this guy is still young. He's going to go down as not only a legend, but I think he's going to smash every single record and then some. You know, like, he's already, you know, there with the midget title. I think he's, one more away, is he, from being the biggest of all time? You'd know. You're all up to date with that stuff.
No, he is at the top. So he's now 8 times he's won a Macau Johnson Hadley, which means he's won it more times than anybody else. Cycling Tracy, I believe, won it 7 times, and I hope I haven't got this wrong, but I believe it was Ross Brennan as well that ever also won it 7 times. So yes, Michael Pickens now stands officially as the GOAT of Speedway motorsports. If you don't know what GOAT is, pretty much means the greatest of all time. Yep.
And so obviously he's got more a chance to expand on that as well. I mean, this guy's only 30 odd, still on the right side of 30, not the wrong side, like you, Marco. And so, but literally, he's just going to add and keep adding and all that sort of stuff, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. But, you know, some good things and some major changes are happening this year. I'm not pretty sure if they announced it, but some of the lads from the F2s are now stepping up, including the actual current New Zealand F2 champion. So it's going to be interesting to see these young guys that are coming through that are showing just as much talent as well. They're going to definitely give Michael Pickens a run. And I guess for Michael, that's what he wants too. He doesn't want to be just driving around Western Springs like if it's a 2-lane motorway going through Otahuhu. He wants to actually have a bit of a challenge. So the more that they get in there, and there's definitely some great talent that are coming out in the midget ranks.
Well, I think also Western Springs are sick of seeing Michael win too, you know, from the general feedback that comes through, and it would be good for just not Michael, but it'll also be good because obviously he'll have to raise his game and look for that extra edge and stuff like that, but it's also going to make it more exciting for people that are sitting up on the banks up the top there watching.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm not sure if anybody would be kind of sick of watching Michael win. We're pretty lucky. There's people that travel the world just to be able to watch that guy race, so yeah, we're pretty lucky, but we'd definitely be good to see a lot more competition for Michael and watching these guys go wheel to wheel like you can with open wheel racing.
There's a couple of sticky questions that have come up in our chat room that's available as well, which one we can't answer, and I know somebody's just asked the questions, is Springs going to be involved with Bay Park Speedway? Well, that's not for us to discuss tonight, but another question that's come up there, Marco, is obviously there's been a statement released today from Western Springs Speedway in relation to the demolition work and stuff like that, so are they going to guarantee that everything's going to be all good to go on the 2nd of November?
Look at the moment, that's what they're saying to us, that's what the police release has said as well. We're just going to look at it this way. It's like having a house, the landlord comes in, if they want to update the kitchen, there's pretty much nothing you can do about it. You've got to remember at the end of the day, Speedway's leases have been there from the Auckland Council, so if they want to start making upgrades, they need to be able to make those upgrades. And of course, we haven't finished fighting for the place yet, so they might be just doing the upgrades for us. Look at it that way.
Okay, so you're back in the commentary box again this season. Anything else you're going to be doing over and above that?
Yeah, back in the commentary box as well. Of course, I've been doing a couple of different shows on the side, just helping host the general show, the Pits Media keep running, or the Pits TV, so looking forward to that as well. Really, it's just my day job and sticking to that, so nice and busy.
Well, you got a new job too. You moved away from you where we're working for immigration now. What are you doing now?
Yeah, so I moved away from immigration, now working for a lovely company that I'm not allowed to mention.
Okay, pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good job, though. It keeps me nice and busy, let's just say 8.5 hours just flies by.
Okay, alrighty then. So anything else that's fresh out of Western Springs Speedway?
Everyone says the calendar will definitely be final calendar will definitely be coming out, so just watch that space on, of course, our Facebook page, and of course our Instagram page is back up again, at Springs Speedway, Springs for the number 5, and of course search Facebook and you can see us on there, so all the releases will be coming on. Practice is still set for October, and the racing of course kicks off with a massive fireworks display come 2nd of November. So sit tight folks, don't forget, we're going to get the show's still about to start. A lot of noise to be made in what I reckon will be one of the biggest seasons to come, and this is our 90th year. This is history matters, folks, so show your support and show yourself by getting those bums on the seat.
Absolutely. Macau Johnson, thank you very much for your time, mate. You enjoy yourself, and good luck for the season that's coming up. And as you said, no doubt we'll be going to be catching up quite a bit. And I do believe the Pits TV is going to be involved in filming the international midgets at Huntly Speedway. So it's our opportunity to, perhaps put a wee bit of our twist on filming those midgets, eh?
Yeah, no, awesome stuff, Jason. Thanks for having me on the show tonight. And, the ones from the awards at the Speedway Awards, I can say every single one of them was worth it, and definitely well deserved. You put a lot of work into actually getting Speedway out there for this country. So
everybody does their bit, mate.
You're a legend, mate, Jay. So.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. Next time we have a talk, you're going to get a new phone because this one's been terrible. It's been all over the place. You must have one of those. You must have one of those stupid fruit phones, do you? You know what I think of those stupid things. Righto, mate. Thank you very much for your time. You have a great season, and we will catch up over the course of the season as well. You might be our go-to man to keep us informed about all the latest news and stuff from Western Springs Speedway. I can't say too much. I can't contact the new promoter or anything like that. So hopefully nobody minds that we give you a call.
Not a problem, Chase. I'm here. You know where to call me.
Okay, mate. Good as gold. Thanks very much, Macau Johnson Hadley.
No, thank you, Dave.
I'll add the last bit on too, mate. See you, man.